First, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Binnik Buns. I'm finishing up my PhD at Stanford, but I'm mainly now a co-founder and chief scientist at Findora, which is a cool new project that is trying to revolutionize finance and do a lot of amazing things there.
So as a co-authors of Bulletproofs, can you tell us what exactly is Bulletproofs?
Yeah, so Bulletproofs is a zero-knowledge proof. Mm-hmm. And the zero-knowledge proof lets you prove that something is true without giving up any information about why it's true. So, for example, if I'm a bank and I want to prove that I'm solvent, I can prove that I'm solvent without revealing, all of my customers' balances and all of my liabilities. But, for example, a Bitcoin exchange can prove that they're solvent, and they don't have to reveal any information, not even how much money they have in total.
When you first envisioned Bulletproofs, where did you think you should put it in use?
I think that one of the cryptocurrencies and cryptocurrency transactions were always a good use case, because Bitcoin has many amazing features. Like you can every transaction, that every transaction is correct. You don't have to trust everyone. It's very decentralized and has nice features. But it also has downsides. For example, that every transaction is public. So if you receive your salary in Bitcoin, everybody can see your salary, and that is just not realistic. And especially, I was talking about finance. If we think about finance, if I run a fund on a blockchain, then I don't want everybody to see what things this fund invests in. So I think there's a need for privacy there, and that is, I think, exactly where something like Bulletproofs and other zero-knowledge proofs come in, because they let you make sure that exactly only the things that need to be revealed are revealed. So I can, for example, say that this transaction is valid without seeing how much money is being transferred. So, and luckily, now this is actually getting deployed and becoming more and more true in practice, and that is what we work on at Findora as well.
So you do think Bitcoin should have privacy features?
I think so, and I think that many people agree on this, and that I think that at least, for Bitcoin to really, or for something like Bitcoin, I think for a cryptocurrency to really not just be a speculation thing, and Bitcoin is great for speculation and for a store of value maybe, but to really be used for transactions, I think it's you want to have the same privacy that you have right now, at least, or better, where your bank knows how much money you're sending, or WeChat Pay knows, they know how much money you're sending, but they don't tell it to the public. So, your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend can't see how much money you're sending to whom, right? You don't necessarily want that. And also your competitors of your business don't see where you're sending money. Absolutely necessary to have some privacy.
Do you think Bitcoin can use Bulletproofs technology?
I think in theory, yes, of course, but I think that Bitcoin is very conservative, so they take an approach of not doing a lot of changes. So I think that probably for Bitcoin to use Bulletproofs, it would be quite some time and until this happens. But in theory, yes.
Mm-hmm. So can you share with us about the newly released proof mechanism?
Yeah, so I talked today about something called supersonic, which is a sort of the latest breakthrough. And so there are these proof systems called snarks, and they have the amazing property that not only can you do zero knowledge with it, but they also are good for scaling and compression. So I can, for example, prove to you that a whole block of transactions is correct in a very short proof that is also efficient to check. So now every client just needs to check this short proof. And the problem with the snarks is that they have this so-called trusted setup where there's some secret toxic material that is needed to set up this proof system. And if that toxic material isn't discarded, so you need really a person that you can trust to discard this toxic material, then the whole proof system is broken and you can create money out of thin air and lots of bad things happen. So what we created with Supersonic is sort of really the first really efficient snark that does not require a trusted setup. So now you don't need to find a person that everybody can trust anymore, but you can just set this up and it has, and it's going to be great for that, yeah.
We know that there's a new privacy solution called Halo.
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to make a transaction without trust setup.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think Halo tries to do something similar to Supersonic, but it doesn't really achieve the same thing as Supersonic because it really gets into the technical differences. But Halo is really only efficient when you don't need a trusted party, but you still need some third party, some helper to get efficiency, and it also only really works when you have many different proofs by different people. So it's not what we call a snark, and it doesn't have these properties. And it also, so Supersonic has all of these properties and is also has security proofs. Halo I think it's a great idea, but I think there's still a lot more work that needs to be done for Halo. So yeah.
Things like Halo and Supersonic, they are new technologies. So
right.
When technology becomes code,
yes,
we may face some bugs. So do you have any tips to fix these bugs?
Right. So that's a really important problem. So first of all, I think what it takes is some very experienced engineers, and it's you need to be really careful in how you implement this and make sure that every single line is correct, because otherwise the whole system could be broken and the whole blockchain could be broken. And so for example, you can do Monero implemented Bulletproofs, and for example they did audits, and I also did an audit, so they get many different people to audit the code. So I think that is very important. But one thing that is also important is that, or what helps, is if the protocols themselves are very simple and cleanly written, like with and easy to follow and easy to implement. Because if you have a really complex protocol, then, and for example, I think Halo is a quite very complex protocol, so I think that it's very dangerous to implement this correctly. So it's much better if you have a very simple protocol that also has, it's really important to have security proofs. So what this means is that you prove mathematically that the protocol is correct and secure. So that's something that we do. But yeah, it's a lot of different things that need to work together.
Do you have any plans to security audit for your mechanism?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing that we will do is we will submit this to an academic conference, one of the top conferences in the field, and then other researchers will look at it and first check that all of the security proofs we wrote are correct, and hopefully they are, and hopefully this gets accepted. And then after that, if we ever anything that we will use in production, I think you need to have an audit. I think otherwise people shouldn't probably trust it that much. It's really, these audits are very important.
Yeah. Let's move to privacy coins.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite privacy coins?
I think there's a lot of interesting projects out there, but I think that I think that we are building now something new at Findora, where we focus on not necessarily a privacy coin, but privacy for financial services. So, for example, a hedge fund, an investment fund, or a lending platform, where this lending platform can run on our underlying technology and have the privacy features, such that, but also the auditability features, such that a regulator can check that this lending platform doesn't just run away with the money, but it also doesn't have to reveal all of the accounts and how much people are lending and how much people are borrowing publicly. So it's balancing the privacy and the auditability.
Yeah, maybe Findora is more focused on financial market.
Yes.
But privacy coins are for some retail investors, right? And we know that last week, or maybe this week,
yeah.
OKEX Korea, they delist several privacy coins.
Right.
And Japan already did that last
Right.
year. So what do you think about the future of privacy coin?
I think it's I don't know about all of these privacy coins. I think I mainly look at those from like the sort of an academic point of view and their features. But I think that there's a key problem here is that regulators, right? They don't want to. These privacy coins can be used for illegal activity, right? And they're very useful. So I think regulators really want to have a balance between being able to audit things and being able to make sure that these transactions they're compliant by some measure of compliance, while still retaining the customer's privacy. So I think that it's really important is this challenge of balancing the privacy with the transparency.
We know that privacy is very important in our daily life, but some people, they just don't get the awareness of the importance of privacy. So what do you think we can do to get the awareness of privacy?
Right. I think that you only really are aware that you need privacy when it's too late, right? When suddenly you're in prison, or your application to something gets denied because you didn't have privacy, or someone is spying on you in some way. But I think that it's very important to basically make the privacy almost immediate, such that the users don't have to put extra and additional work into it. So it shouldn't be a burden on them to get privacy, but it should be almost immediate for them. And the other thing is that I think that in some applications, I think users are very aware that they need privacy. For example, I don't think that most people would want to have their salary public on a blockchain, visible for everyone, right? I think they might be willing to reveal whom they're paying, but probably not how much, the exact amounts. So I think that people have some need for privacy, even they don't even think about it, but they actually they really want privacy.
Speaking of cryptography,
yes.
Sorry, people usually think of cryptocurrencies,
yes.
But actually it is not limited to cryptocurrencies. Can you tell us more about cryptography?
Yeah, so I think that you use cryptography every single day when you connect to almost any website now. When you see that bar, the HTTPS, cryptography, making sure that you're A, talking to the right website, and B, that even your data provider in the middle cannot read what you're sending over this encrypted channel. Let's say, for example, your bank information. They cannot see, only the bank and you can see how much information is being used there. And I think the internet today wouldn't work without cryptography. But there's actually new cryptography, so modern cryptography like zero knowledge proofs. And I think there's, for example, exciting applications there for stuff like you have different, say, you want to run DNA tests on DNA data between different databases, and they want to run a study on all of these databases, but the people, the hospitals or something holding these DNAs don't want to share all of the information. So with cryptography, we can just run a study in such a way that we get the output of the study, how many people have this DNA feature, without revealing any of the underlying information. So that's a cool thing. Or you can do private voting, online voting, where you vote do an election, and none of the votes have to be public, but we get the outcome of the election. And there's many other cool things that cryptography can do, and I'm hopeful and sure that we will see a lot more. And cryptocurrencies have really been a great driver for bringing advanced cryptography to practice. So it's a really exciting field, I think.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.